Hi, I'm Amy and welcome to my channel. I'm a relationship and manifestation mentor, and my channel is all about merging spirituality and psychology so that you can manifest your relationship faster. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about the subject of communication and text messages and all things related to that. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what my experience and what my journey was when I was manifesting a text from my specific person. So if you're sat there trying really hard to manifest communication, contact, or a text message, then this video is for you. So let's dive in. So my journey started around 6 years ago, and to be honest, the idea that I could manifest contact with my specific person was really the thing that got me into manifestation in the first place, because at this point I didn't really believe it. I didn't really believe that I had that much power. So understandably, it was quite difficult for me to do it, but what I decided to do anyway was try it. So there's three particular circumstances that stick out to me when I think about manifesting a text. And the first instance was when I first got into manifestation in the first place, as I just said. And I really was so desperate to speak to my person. I was so unhappy. I was so desperate, so needy, and I really didn't believe that I could be happy without this message. And just so everybody knows, there is zero judgment here. If you want a text message, you want a text message. And don't let anyone shame you because you want a text message. And the only reason I'm saying that is because when I was on this journey, I'd hear a lot of, oh no, just go to the end of being married. But that just wasn't possible for me. I couldn't get there because I didn't have the proof to say that this was all real. And I didn't have the self-concept that I grew in the end to actually get me to a position where I could manifest the relationship or manifest a marriage, because I just hadn't done the work yet. And that is okay. So if you're at the beginning of your journey, if you want a text message, knock yourself out and go for it. So the first time that I tried this, I had tried every single technique under the sun to try and get this text message to come through. I'd visualized, I'd affirmed, I'd done all these things. I'd done the 2-cup thing, I'd wrote it down a billion times what I wanted, but I still couldn't get it to work. And the reason why is because I still hadn't worked on my self-concept. So the first thing I did was really committed to my self-concept. And what this actually looked like for me was that I would visualize a text message, I would drop it the best as I could, and I would do self-love affirmations. Now, affirming isn't something I particularly do now. I don't feel like I need to, but at the time, I really needed to dive into those self-love exercises, even as a way to just take my mind off the fact that I hadn't had this message. And sure enough, within about, I would say, maybe less than a week actually, the message came through and I felt that relief. But then it wasn't enough. So one thing I would like to sort of point out in this video is that although right now you feel like you really want this text message, ask yourself if that text message is going to be enough. Because for me, it wasn't. It wasn't enough to get a text. I did really want a relationship. The second time that I remember doing this was when I'd sort of got a bit better in developing my self-concept into somebody who was loved, somebody who was wanted and cherished. And I did the same thing. I would visualize, I would drop it, and eventually it came through. But then the third time that I tried it, now this is over a span of say 3 or 4 years maybe. The last time that I tried it, I could not get this to work. I couldn't get it to work. I tried so hard. I tried what I'd done before, but it just was not working. And sitting where I am now, and when I was planning on doing this video, because I want to give you all the information that I can, I really had to be honest with myself as to why I think this didn't work. And there's a few reasons. Number one is because the text wasn't really what I wanted. I wanted the relationship. And I was in a point in my journey then where I knew I deserved the relationship. I knew I was worthy of having the relationship. So manifesting a text didn't give me the feelings that it used to give me. It didn't give me the satisfaction or relief anymore because it wasn't enough. It wasn't what I really, really wanted. And I knew that even though if I did manifest a message, that it would not be enough, and I would just be stuck in this cycle of manifesting communication and then it going, manifesting it, then it going. So at that point, I did start to just go to the end of having the relationship. And I did then start to feel the feelings of having that relationship. And the communication came automatically because I had the self-concept of somebody who was already in a relationship. And within that self-concept contained frequent contact, loving contact. And that is what I got. So if you've been on this journey for quite a while and you're still trying to manifest a message and it's not working for you, really ask yourself, is it the text that I want, or is it a relationship? Because when you're not really going after what you want and in essence settling for something that's less than what you know that you want and what you know you deserve, you are going to have a really hard time getting into the feeling space of having that. But that's okay. It's not the end of the world. You're just going to move into the end of something else, at the end of something that's further down the line for you. That might be a full-blown relationship. It might be a marriage. It might be moving in together. So when you see these videos or this content that's saying to you, manifest a text message within 3 days, do I think that's possible? Yeah, I do, because I've done it. I do think it's possible. But it's not always the best way to go about it. And I know when you're sitting there and you're in no contact and it's excruciating, what I would recommend to people, and particularly my clients, to do is to sit with the no contact. Sit with it and see what's coming up with that. Do some shadow work on that. Why do you feel ignored? Why do you feel rejected because this person hasn't texted you? And work on your self-concept from that and do some really deep internal shifts and internal transformation so that you really don't care whether that person's texted you or not, because you know that in the end, you're going to be with them anyway. You're going to be married to them anyway. So a text message really is just settling for something that you know that you deserve way, way more than that. But if you're just in a position where you're trying to prove this stuff to yourself, a text message is actually a really, really good way to do this. My personal technique for this was visualizing it, getting into the feeling space, getting into the state of somebody that had it, so that I could allow that in and allow the communication in. I would think about how I would feel if I had this text message, how different things would be if I had this text message, and I would just drop it the best that I could and worked on myself, went and focused on something else, anything else other than him, and it did come through for me. So if that's where you're at right now, that's just where you're at, and that's absolutely fine. Maybe you need to go through this so that you can grow, so that you can learn, and so that you can use this as evidence, like I still do now. When I doubt my manifestations, I think about these times where I manifested a text message when it seemed impossible. It seemed like he never wanted to speak to me again. And it's a really good way of reminding yourself how powerful you are and how you have so much influence over what your outside world is. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please consider sharing and liking and subscribing to this channel if you want more content like this. And I will see you in the next video.